have the Twitch. I mean, we also shout out things on the Twitch cat, as you've heard. Like, I don't know if you want to. I normally go into Twitch and just open up the chat in a new tab and mute the main one, so I don't have to listen
Oh my
to us
God,
and
make
echo.
sure. I titled it "It's a Sweaty Summer," and your Hawaiian shirt is perfect for the title. Like your picture is actually perfect for this. Good times. I'm actually kind of worried about Nova this year. I ain't gonna lie. Like this has been like the most. It's gonna be sweaty. Like
every time you were talking about like events, I'm like, man, there is not. So I was looking at a few other events, and there's no event minus maybe I haven't done the math on the sci-fi's recently since we added people, but like the top 10 in each event, man, is cutthroat. This one and sci-fi, they're both going to be nasty.
Yeah, like top 8's going to be hard to get into. Actually, I feel like for Nova. Like,
yeah, I mean we're at 45 tickets sold. We're expanding to 54 for the cap.
Nice.
And I know a couple people on the only purpose expanding is I know a few people who are like, I'm right on the fence. I'm like, all right, Nova's gonna give us like kind of a one-time-ish expansion shot here, so
Fair.
It's gonna be exciting. Because Booker, what did we have for LVO as we started? 40. I also probably have it in my Longshanks.
I think it was 62.
No.
52?
No. I don't know why 53 was sticking out in my mind. They had they sold. I think they technically sold out and had obviously every event, right? Well, not every. I would say we last year had only one no-show for Nova last year, which was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Attended. How far back does attended look? Well, that's really far
You should
back.
be able to see it.
I just went over. It was on the first page. I'm curious. When was LVO? LVO 54. Sorry, they had to drop. So I think it was 53. Yeah, they had a.
Are you?
I think they had a no-show who they then gave a loss to and then dropped because they'd already done the one guy. So it was 53 players at the end.
I haven't even looked at the Longshanks to see like names that are going to be at Nova. Now I'm curious.
We're still slowly putting people in because a lot of people haven't. Well, we only the packet came out. We haven't really kicked people. We've been trying to get people in. I mean, we only have 33 of the 45 players in right now, but we certainly have. I mean, the top 8, the 8th highest ranking is 555, which is top 10%. It gets. Dan, it gets we have to go to 14 spots till we get out of 500. Hey, Todd's here. Yeah, 54. Makes it easy, man. I got Todd here. Just give me all the info.
Anybody who's here, we got Samuel Sweden, Scott Evil Houdini, Evan, Grand Moff Eric, Reddy Asante, Rudy, myself, Joseph, Red Wolf, Kevin Caldwell, Booker, the other brother, Kodauer, the other brother,
the other brother,
Desiker, Kevin Desiker, the other Kevin, you're Trevor, which he's been he's been up and coming, he's been doing real good lately.
I mean, you talk about that, he always jokes he's only played in 2 ranked events, and it's the 2 TTS leagues,
I mean, it's also he's literally got I don't know, anybody who has Scott in their local meta, I instantly am like, God, I don't want to play against.
I mean, I don't know if Trevor's played Scott that often, but Trevor and I play a lot, right?
Yeah. Let's see.
Man, everyone's talking about Scott. They literally joked today. I beat Scott in our final. I beat Scott today, and they were like, "Oh man, someone beat Scott," and Scott just turned and goes, "Matt beats me half the time." Matt technically has a winning record against me. I'm like, yeah, Scott, you just beat me every time it actually matters. When we're playing in a real event, Scott takes off his little kitty mitts and just claws me to death. Yeah, Todd, I'm sorry, I just saw the chat. Yeah, I kind of, as soon as I saw LVO move, I'm like, this is going to be a rough year for LVO. Nothing to do with the event, but moving it into October in the heat of all those events is just tough. You can't control it, right? As a TO, you just have to weather it. And I even called it out when they announced it. I'm like, would be if you told me that LVO went +8 tickets or -8 tickets, I'd be more likely to say it went -8 tickets, and it's not. And I think next year it's going to be back up into the I think next year it's going to pass everything but Adepticon with its eyes closed. I think people are going to realize and schedules are going to move around LVO. I mean, I'd be going to LVO if I wasn't going to have a 2-month-old at home, and the wife vetoed overnight trips across the country. I don't know why. Crazy lady.
That seems silly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Do I have all my stuff up here? Yeah, I do. Okay. Cool. I got all my stuff. You with me? Yeah, you do. Oh, so Todd, I saw the first sentence and was about to go, you gotta be kidding me. You're not allowed to. And then when I saw the second half, I realized you were trolling me. I'm like, absolutely not. ACO Nova and PAX is my limit, man. I got this Northeast covered. I mean, granted, it sounded like I was talking to Evan about the Boston event. And I know some of those guys, Evan, Will, James, and they said it was a good, it's a shame. Obviously, this one was just too tough to go up there this close to the kid. There's an outside chance they do another one December. Is the other one is Ironwell, one's Everwinter. I don't know. I think it's Everwinter is in December. Yeah, there's an outside chance I'm making it to Everwinter. It's like a 4-hour drive. By then the kid's 4 months old. Should be a little easier. We've got family help, so I'm debating Everwinter as a GT I get to go play in this year. And just go up and deal with Evan, James, and Will, who are all really good. There's the names I know of the people up in the New England area, but that's a tough group as well.
I mean, I imagine I'll probably do the same thing this year, Nova and PAX. I don't know if I'm making LVO like I thought I was. There's just too much going on.
Remember, also PAX moved up.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
The weekend before Thanksgiving, which makes it a lot cheaper to get to PAX.
I mean, it's the same for me. It's just I just drive to your place and crash on your floor or your couch.
Yeah. For the Aegis, I love it. Bring my child along. You can't beat me. Here's this child. If you beat me, he's gonna throw up on you. Because that's all toddlers do, or infants do, is eat, sleep, throw up.
Okay, well, I guess we can get started with this. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Booker.
Yep, good to go.
Is that how you say it? Is it Booker?
Technically, yeah, it's German.
Okay.
How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, how do you pronounce
Booker?
it? I've never asked. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I said that, I'm like, the first day I asked you, 2 years ago before Adepticon, was like, how do you pronounce it? He's like, Booker, like books.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it stands for. It literally just means books in German.
Mine just means white. Just
Chirino, little matchstick in Italian.
That fits.
It does. It really does. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I'm gonna hit some buttons.
Welcome, my young apprentice. Stretch out with your feelings. I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Welcome back to another week of Rogue Support, where we are always in your corner of the cantina. This week we got a special episode for you. We're going to be talking about this hot, sweaty summer we got coming up. Matt's going to take the reins here pretty shortly, but we want to introduce a special guest with us, not replacing, but taking the place of Accuser, as he had to step out for the night due to some sickness. So yeah, sorry, buddy. So we got Matthew Booker with us here tonight, and why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and say hello?
Hello.
All right. Yeah.
I play Shatterpoint. I've heard I'm pretty good at it. I don't think I am, but people keep asking me questions, so I guess I'll just keep answering them. I don't know.
Eventually, you
enough.
just answer enough questions, right? You become the expert.
Hey,
Fair. All right. And then with that, as always, if you want to join the discussions we have, go ahead and jump into the Discord. There's a link in the description. If you'd like to become a patron and support the show, there's a link in the description for that as well. And we have, as for the past, I don't know, it's coming up on a year now, actually, been partnered with Goonhammer. Almost a year.
Yeah, basically last
Yeah.
July when I joined. Yeah, so
Yeah, been working with Goonhammer Media Network to bring you good quality Shatterpoint content. And with that, we're gonna roll into hot takes and cold drinks. And Booker, as you are sitting in accuser's chair, you're first.
well, I came prepared with a cold drink, but forgot about the hot takes. So I have a nice chilled glass of Riesling here. That no one can see. It's in a Porg mug, so matches the picture.
it is still
And
split up.
then
It's still
The-
it's there.
Oh, I don't
It's on
see
the
it.
stream. It's on the stream.
Ah, okay.
yeah. And then for a hot take, I'm just gonna go along with the title of this and say that right after all of these boxes come out, if they come out on time, it's gonna just completely shift the meta every week. So good luck to anyone that wants to try to plan for a GT.
Yes.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but yeah.
All right. We'll
It's
jump
gonna
into
be fun.
Qui-Gon's hot take. Cold drink. Cold drink. He's got some Coke Zero, not chocolate milk for once. Usually it's chocolate milk. I swear every single week it's chocolate milk for him. And then hot take. Baze and Chirrut are the most consistent support in the game, but played alongside Han and Chewie, they become a problem. I kind of disagree with that. They kind of die like real easy. I've played into them a couple times this last week, and I just kill them, and then they're not a problem anymore. Like, you just kill them.
Yeah, I had the opposite problem the other day. I put like 5 attacks into them and they didn't die.
What were you playing though?
I was playing Empire.
Oh, fair. I'm just playing Mandos. Like, they're just consistent dice, I guess.
So's Empire. Like,
Nope. You got nerfed, didn't you hear?
sure, I wasn't playing any of those units.
Alrighty. Matt, what is your hot take and cold drink?
My cold drink is I went back to old reliable Trogs Perpetual IPA. My hot take, boy, I had the stupid obvious one. My hot take is I think I can't do a Bodhi Rook one. Man, I had that one last week. Yeah, I think right now I think people are not overthinking how to play against Anakin. I just think we are panicking that a person can wound a primary and move so many, like move a primary or secondary and move so many things. I really think Anakin, you just need to understand he's going to have a big turn and he's going to go up and kill stuff. And we'll get a little bit some more when I talk about like what I've been up to. But I think the hot take is people need to realize that you need to play around Anakin the same way you would play around any model that just goes, yeah, when they activate, they're probably getting a kill or two. Like, there are ways to play around it. I just keep hearing, and the reason I say that, I know we've talked about Anakin before, but I keep hearing it. I keep seeing people like, what's your plan for Anakin? I'm like, I don't know, play him like I would play any killy model. I don't know. I've yet to have a major issue. Like, he's gonna do stuff. He's gonna kill people. I played my game today, and Anakin got activated twice and got 4 wounds. Like, okay, I just walk past you, kill all your supports. Got it. Cool. Thanks.
Age Spran says what I was thinking. Panikin.
Oh yeah, I was thinking
Anakin,
Anakin,
yeah.
Panikin.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot. And like, look, I'm not saying Anakin's bad. Anakin's good, right? Like, I just think as a whole, I don't know why people haven't. I mean, I guess people didn't solve Iden, quote unquote, solve Iden, and everyone was panicked every time I saw Iden. But like, I just think I think there's a lot of ways to play around Anakin. I think we just need to.
end of the day, like what he's doing is really cool, but if it's like if you're not taking advantage of what he's doing and progressing your end state, then it could be any character. Like you have to be able to utilize what he's doing to actually progress your end state to make the game closer to an end, and not just, hey, I killed people and I moved some people. Well, what did you actually accomplish? Did you move and steal 3 points off of this? No. Okay, well the game state's exactly the same.
And he can, like, he
Sure.
can, because he can get that wound and dash on shield, but like, I can name you a bunch of models that have a chance to flip multiple points that are primaries. Like,
Maul.
and the big thing I will say, the biggest thing Anakin makes me second guess is ever putting us, when I see an Anakin, a potential Anakin across table, I double check every model in my list that has 7 health and go, am I okay with this? Because like, Anakin does 7 real easy.
It's the same thing as Vader, though. Like Vader does the same thing. Who is Vader gonna kill? Like Vader's gonna kill somebody. Who do I want to bait Vader with? And it's like, I honestly, like, whenever I'm playing like one of those high easy kill characters, it's very much like, who do I want to put in front of them? That way they are baited by this, and then I just don't care as much. And it's like, cool, you killed somebody. You're gonna kill somebody anyways. I'd rather you wound somebody who's not gonna be as force intensive later on for me. So, yeah. I think Anakin's overrated. That's just me though. And I guess
I mean,
you.
yeah, he's good, right? But I don't think he's as good. But that's my duct tape together hot take. We'll go with that.
That's fair. All right.
It is, Steve.
My turn. I have water because I'm trying to be healthier than lately. I guess good news. I've dropped like 10 pounds in the last week. So
Last
like,
week.
Yeah.
It's called it summer, man. It's hot. You're sweating all that water weight.
No, we started doing like a keto diet, and I stopped drinking soda, which is like the biggest thing for me. Like soda and energy drinks, like stop drinking that, and I just lose weight because I'm bad with soda. So no beer for me tonight. I gotta look for Nova, right? And then hot take. Oh, you did that once and turned out you had an ulcer. That's not very good. Ugh. I mean, at least you found out. Hot take. I think, and I hate to say it again, but it's like we're in a really weird spot now, and we're gonna be focusing on this episode. Like, there's so many releases, and GTs are gonna be so weird, and I have no idea what I'm doing with the list anymore. Because do I prepare? Do I not prepare? How do you prepare? Like, there's just so many questions going on right now that, like, I think Shatterpoint's in a very interesting spot right now. My hot take has to be, anybody who thinks they know what's good right now is not what's good in a week from now. And this has been going on since the errata. Like, I think things are in such a constant shuffle of what's good, and this is honestly a really good state of the game. And that's the hot take, is we're in an amazing state of the game, and I worry that the summer is gonna ruin that feeling for us. Like, everything just feels so good. Like, I know people keep saying Galactic Republic is winning a lot of events and it's going really good for them, but man, like, top 8s are so diverse. Like, there's like so much going on, and it's such a great competitive state of the game. I don't know, I didn't look at your event, Booker, but like, did the top, I don't know how many tops you guys had, but like, let's say top 8, did it feel diverse, or was it pretty solid? Like, there's a lot of this.
Like the one I played yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean, we only had 10 people, so
Oh, okay.
the top 8 was almost the whole tournament. But no, it was pretty diverse. You know, we had a full Ewok player. Chris was playing his separatists, so you know, that's always fun.
So I just think the hot take is it's just a great time to play in Shatterpoint, and let's keep it rolling. Cliff Jumper, Todd,
I like your
hot
Todd.
take. Best way to be prepared is to have an encyclopedia of Shatterpoint in your mind, like Booker. So, yeah. And then Qui-Gon, the answer right now is all comers list. And it's like, what is an all comers list in Shatterpoint nowadays? Like,
It's a list with a little extra movement that you feel good with. That's what an all comers list is for
I
you, right?
I think the second part is what's more important, is what do you feel good with? Like, what are you most comfortable with? That's what's most important right now.
Yeah, I think it becomes less trying to counter pick and, you know, build your list to counter a specific archetype or anything like that, and it comes down to these are these are 2 lists or 4 combinations of lists that I feel comfortable playing. Period. That's how you're gonna do well.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there with the archetype idea, right? Like it's not like it was a couple months like pre-errata where it's hey, the meta is Iden, things with Kanan, and like Mandos, and then a bunch of stuff that you're less worried about. Now it's like, yeah, what is good against aggressive lists? What is good against like revengey lists? What's good against heavy movement? Like it's more about playing to the archetypes less than playing to the specific list for sure.
Well, let's go ahead and roll into what you've been up to. We'll go ahead and start with Booker. What have you been up to? Go ahead and talk about your event yesterday.
Well, as we talked about it already, we went to an event yesterday. I ran it at the local game store down here that I'm the ambassador for, TO guy. It was fun. We did 3 rounds, 10 people. One person had to leave after round 1, so then a second one left after round 2 because we played 2 rounds and then took a break and then played the 3rd round, and the person that got the bye in the 2nd round just, didn't want to wait for 3 hours to play a 2-hour game. Makes sense. And I ended up winning, which feels good. I haven't actually won very many games recently, so that made me feel better. But I also felt terrible because the last game I played was against the purist Christopher, and I unfortunately stopped him at his 17 win streak. So 3 away before 20.
You're a monster.
Yeah. I told him before the game, I'm not going to go easy on you, but I really hope you win. But like we had a pretty tight game, and it just came down to, a little bit of dice luck here and there, not like actually rolling, but more priority objective and then map layout. I was just in a better position to take advantage of it than he was.
What mission were you guys on?
We played Sabotage Showdown, and then he played Kanan, Ahsoka Fulcrum into me, and I played PLC Cassian, which I was actually locked into because I played Krennic Grand Inquisitor twice in a row.
And that's
because
that's something
on
you've been up to is
Thursday,
you picked up the Krennic 500.
Yeah, on Thursday I saw that I was at 484 points with Krennic, so I was like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna play Krennic twice on Saturday. Just casually grab that badge that I didn't realize I was even that close to.
So I guess if people have questions about Krennic, go to Booker.
He's really fun to play.
Yeah, when I saw you get that, I'm like, man, every time I play Krennic, like it just feels like a win more, and I just haven't gotten him to click. But like I know it's there. You look at the kit and you're like, it's there, man. I just haven't figured it out yet.
Oh no, it's not there. Don't worry.
This is like the mind trick, right? Like, no, you have no interest in playing
He
this
shows
model.
up as he shows with Nova with Krennic.
Oh no, I am. Krennic is fun. He's not competitive. Just where he's at. Like, he has a lot of tricks, but tricks don't win you games.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. All right, Matt, what have you been up to?
A little bit of getting ready around the house. Obviously, always working on terrain, getting stuff ready for Nova. I'm also printing some terrain for Accuser for his event his GT in September, end of September,
Nice.
3rd week, whatever it is. I got to play in an event today. We had a local. I wound up winning, although I realized like I tried to take the less competitive list and was like, oh yeah, like Hunter Obi is still good. But yeah, played 3 tight games today, as we talked about a little bit. Like, got to play into Anakin with Hunter Obi because I really wanted to try that matchup, and it went, man, like Obi's identity. It hasn't changed. Like everyone's like, Obi's really good now. I'm like, Obi was good before. Like Booker, you and I were talking forever about Hunter Obi, and like the only thing bad about Hunter Obi was it just couldn't keep up with the Iden level of dice. But man, it definitely keeps up with the new aggro list level of dice. Like just Obi, and then Hunter, I just love. So, yeah, man,
and I mean, a lot of the models in that list going up 1 hit point also just really change it.
Yeah, and you and I were talking earlier this week before I took the list, and like I wanted to keep Tekko in there. So I played Hunter, Crosshair, Tekko, and then Obi Rex 212. And Matt, you pointed out the thing, you were like, oh, you were thinking about clone commandos in that spot. I'm like, yeah, why? Like Tekko is everything. You're like the extra health. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. Let's see today. So I played Tekko version, and yep, absolutely. Like, wish it was clone commandos. Wish I had the 1 extra health. The scale wouldn't have come up a bunch, but like they didn't do a lot of damage output. They're mostly there for that, like just getting the strain on people. But would have been nice to have the protection basically, because they took a lot of like chip shot damage, and like this would have been great if I took 1 less here on all these attacks. So yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. Commandos might take that spot. And then,
until Delta comes out.
Well, yeah, who knows, right? Like until we had more clones, because Republic hasn't needed anything else. They don't need more stuff.
Do they?
Can we secretly make those clones separatists?
Yes, please.
Yeah, they're called Aqua Droids. Like they're getting them too.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
All right. I guess my turn. I have been waffling on what the hell I'm going to play because all these new release dates for stuff has me, what do I even want to take? And I keep winding back up at the same list that I've been playing for almost a year now. So it's very much like, am I doing the right stuff? So I've just been going back and forth on what I need to do. Sarah Ghoul and the purist Christopher can definitely attest to I have no idea what I'm doing right now. So it's been great. So I'm just trying to get plans up, get things ready for Nova, and trying to get a good schedule into where I'm going to get back on the grind of games and hopefully be prepared, because this is like, honestly, I'm not going to lie. I was looking at the calendar today and I'm like, oh my God, like it's almost a month out and I don't feel ready for it, to be honest with you. This is the least prepared for Nova I have ever felt for any game. And I'm just like, God, like I'm... so, but it's like, it's crazy because like I'm not like losing games and I'm not like feeling bad. It's just I don't like, and this comes back to earlier. It's like I just don't know what's good right now because everything seems good right now. Like
I think that's a big thing. There's just so much that feels good, and yeah, we are like 6 weeks from now. We will have crowned a champion for Nova.
Yeah,
so.
it's Scott.
I mean,
I definitely sent Scott all the images for the prizes for like I'm like, do you approve of these for now?
Is this what you want? Is this what you want for?
Yeah, that's terrible. No.
I mean, so far there's 100% correlation between whoever wins Nova wins Worlds. So
that is true. Scott 101 Worlds.
Well, that's the way to go.
You say the same for ACO and PAX.
yeah, but those happened after, right?
PAX last year happened before and was a GT.
Okay,
So if you win Nova, you win PAX. That's what
you win Nova. If you win Nova, you win PAX. If you win PAX, you win it. You win Worlds. That's your. That's the train we're going to.
That's the train. All right.
So you're saying if I win Nova, I have to go to PAX?
Yes.
Yes, obviously.
Because it's fun. There's a really nice house you can stay at.
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah. It's just like, all right, this is going to like map out the space. Like you can dig that corner of Matt's basement. You can dig that corner of Matt's basement.
Austin won't be able to go because he'll be gone. So it'll be one less. I don't know. Joey's gone. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and roll into the main topic. I'm going to pass the reins over to Matt and go ahead and lead us on this discussion.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into like our kind of mini topic we want to talk about. So we're gonna take a second, just like obviously as we've alluded to, right? We've got a lot of new releases coming up that AMG has announced that are all gonna happen this summer. And So obviously we knew about Jin, right? We all kind of knew from the roadmap Jin was going to be coming out during the summer at some point. I honestly thought she was going to be coming out a little bit earlier. So, and then we all kind of thought, at least in my mind, I assumed that the Rift Tamsin box or the Seps box and the Delta Squad box weren't going to be impacting us until like the fall. And we obviously now know that those are coming in August, according to AMG's website. So the first thing I want to talk a little bit, as the two of you guys who are playing in GTs over the summer, and we talked about it a little bit, is there anything else specific you guys are thinking about in terms of preparing for an event when things are unknown? Like, and I'm going to start with kind of two parts of this question, and we're going to start with you first, Booker, as our guest. So the first question is going to be in terms of preparing to play against. I think that's going to be the harder thing and the more intimidating things for most people. So we're going to give an example here. So let's say Nova, obviously we know when that is. Let's say the box is officially released the week before. AMG obviously gives us all the cards a month out. So you're a month out, you're 4 weeks out from Nova, you're 3 weeks out from Nova. All of a sudden, we just AMG shows us the 2 new boxes coming out, Delta Squad and the Terror from Below. What are you doing as a player and preparing to play against potentially those new things, including Jin for this? So, Matt, how are you planning for these things?
Go into a corner and cry because I've said it locally a few times, but I like last November when they released 4 boxes at once. I didn't like that because that's just it's good for the game. Don't get me wrong. It's bad competitively because there's too much stuff to learn, to play against, to figure out all the little nitty-gritty combos to feel confident to go into something. So, we got those 4 boxes. We had about a month and a half to play with them before going to LVO earlier this year. I didn't feel confident going into that with all of that new stuff. And, a couple people got with Lando, he was there. He got a couple people. So, even though it was widely expected that there wouldn't be too much from that, there was. And, why would we think any different now? That's 3 boxes that are coming out in the span of a month. So we know what one of them does, and the Gen box looks amazing. So
yeah, definitely looks impactful to the game for sure.
Yeah, and if we look at just the last few boxes that have been released, most of them have been pretty impactful. So if they keep up that trend, all of a sudden we're going to see something like a Ki-Adi-Mundi box coming out for Separatists. Like, that's scary. I don't want that.
I mean, what was the last box to come out that wasn't impactful to the game?
Long-term impactful? Wow. Sure. I was going to go with something like Veers or CT box. Granted, Veers had that little run with like the Veers Iden list being really good, but that obviously went like even like we say went really good. I know we talked about leading up to Adepticon that we wouldn't be surprised if we saw it, and it just didn't do well. Like it just didn't.
Yeah.
Top 8, top 6. Like it didn't. Yeah, it did like fine for the people playing it, but it didn't finish well.
My point here is the track record shows all 3 of these boxes will be impactful. Like,
Well, and again, we're like obviously we don't know we only know what's in one of them. I'm just trying to think of like things you can do. A player who is planning to go to a GT this summer or potentially on the fence and goes, man, I don't want to play against new stuff. Like, right, we're trying to figure out what you can do to kind of quickly learn to play against it potentially. So obviously gonna make a big impact. I don't know, Diz, any thoughts? What are you doing if you, again, we get the cards 3 weeks before Nova, and I want to focus just on how are you planning on preparing to play against them, and then we want to get to like if you were going to play with them, but starting just with the against.
I think the biggest issue is I don't think you truly know a matchup until you've played at least 5 games against / with it. So it's like you have such a limited amount of time to get those reps in, but you're gonna have. There's no way that you don't not see them. at an event. So it's kind of like if they're going to be out in time, somebody's going to be taking them, and you got to be ready for it. So as soon as the cards come out, if you have the time, you got to just grind the games, and that's kind of what it's going to be. And this is going to be a sweaty summer because as soon as stuff gets published and spoiled, it's going to be I need games against this now. Because I need to be ready for this, and I need to decide, am I going to take this? Because again, like you said, we know what one box does, and like
Looks good. Yeah.
it looks
like,
good. And the bigger thing that I see is I think the one box that scares me the most, like for potential, is probably Riff, because you can go from seeing no separatists to separatists being everywhere. If Rift's box is good, that is like what scares me the most about Rift's box is you could potentially go from hardly seeing separatists to they winning the GT.
And that's really an interesting. I didn't really think about that because obviously, right? Like Jin is just more rebel stuff. We've got a lot of rebels, right? That are doing well. You're seeing a lot of stuff, and it's how do these plug into existing lists? Same with Command or Delta Squad, right? Like it's like they're more Republic. How do we plug Republic into existing Republic lists? Yeah, it's interesting because like we're not seeing a lot of separatists, so it does bring a faction kind of back. Could potentially bring a faction back aggressively into the fold. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to highlight is that something you said is playing with and against. I really like the with part. Because even when trying to learn how to play against something, I always want to play at least one or two a couple games with it.
Yeah.
So I can feel it from the driver's seat. I think that's a really good thing. Like, even if you have no intention of bringing these boxes and you're going to a GT, you should try to get a game in with them so you can think about the mechanics, things like that.
Well, it's also like when you play with something, that's when you notice the weaknesses. It's very much if I'm playing against a character, I don't necessarily see the impact of me wounding that character did early. I'm like, cool, I took out that guy. I don't feel the force strain. I don't feel the mental load of not having access to these things. But as the person who's sitting there, I'm like, God, I wish, like for Bodhi, for instance, I wish Bodhi didn't get wounded earlier. And it's like, cool, now that I know that, Bodhi's a prime target for me to like take out early. You having that understanding of how the list clicks and what feels bad helps you determine what you could do to make your opponent feel bad.
100%. Knowing what the list does is how you beat it, right? So now let's go to the second part of this. So I'm going to go back to you, Booker. So let's say now we release, and I'm going to specifically talk about, we'll use Separatists. We've talked a lot. So they release the Terror from Below box, and you're like, man, I'm a Separatist player. This box speaks to me. But the cards get spoiled 3 weeks before Nova. What are the things you're doing specifically if you see one of these three, especially the two we haven't seen yet, and they come out close to your GT? What are there anything special you're going to do to try to get them on the table? Besides, obviously, like potentially build and paint them and buy them. But like anything you're doing at a crunch time, right? Like you've got 3 weeks to get ready for an event with something no one's ever seen. Is there anything you're doing specifically? And Booker, we'll start with you.
So specifically, no, I don't think so. But definitely looking at, the Terror from Below, we've talked about Separatists a few times about it. But I've actually been thinking, Mother's like a Separatist. What if Riff brings life back to Mother? Like, that's a package that, could be really good again, right? Like, if Riff can bring some movement to Mother or some other, some sort of force refresh so that she can actually do her stuff, like, that's going to be really good. And, that leads into future boxes. I know we're not really talking about it, but right, like they talked about the Morgan Elsbeth box. So get your Mother in practice while Mother is good, right? So. And then for Delta Squad, obviously the practice there is how well do they mesh with Hunter and Clone Commandos and, Pons, Cody, see which, combination of all the clones is the best, and then is this list good? Should I be playing this list?
No, I like it. Is anything to add on? Like, is there anything you're doing trying to like quickly grind to learn a new list that everyone's kind of new and learning? Is there anything like anything you can think of. And there might not be a good answer for this either. Like Matt, I like a lot what you had to say, and I agree with all of it.
I feel like the biggest question that you have to ask yourself is this something that I want to risk playing? And risk is the key word there. Is you have all this practice and all this reps with stuff for months at this point, especially coming up, let's say Nova or the Dragon Quest. I don't know what the Washington one is called. Dragon something. Dragon Con. The Washington
Evergreen.
GT. Evergreen Open. Thank you. But it's like you have all these weeks and months of reps with certain things. Is it worth risking and throwing away that practice time to take whatever it is? And that's like the biggest question that I have is Delta or Rift gonna make me have questions about my list? And I just don't know. And I guess I won't know until we see the cards. But it's like, at that point, the big question for me is it worth risking to take something that I barely know? And can I get the reps in? Do I have enough time to get enough reps to feel good with it? Because there is the whole entire shock factor of taking something brand new to a tournament like this and just blowing people away with it because they don't know how it works.
So I have a question for you two along these lines. What if they don't release the cards until a week before the box comes out? So assuming the dates are correct on the AMG website, Delta is going to come out the week before Nova.
Mm-hmm.
What if Delta is, Iden 2.0, best thing in the game? No one can possibly stand against it. Are you going to get that ready for the GT, or are you just going to hope to not play it?
I think I would rather, if it's that level of good, like whether it be Rift or Delta, it's very much comes down to I'd rather be prepared to go against it than be with it, just because I don't know. It's hard because like I was such against the Iden stand, and I feel like I'm a hypocrite if I say I'm gonna go ahead and slam dunk that shit. What's the goals of the event? Am I trying to get first? If I'm trying to get first, I'm slam dunking it. There's your answer. Okay.
Okay, so to a little caveat on that, right? You said, or when Iden first came out, I don't think people intuitively understood the power level that the Iden box was, right? Like it took a week of people playing it to then go, oh, this is actually really good. Because a lot of people, were like, oh, Del Mico, I'm going to play him instead of the ISF, right? Like that was the first week. So you only have a week to practice, and there's only a week for, everyone in general to figure out, is this good or is it not? So you have to, make your split-second judgment on 1 week worth of reading cards, not necessarily playing. And for me, I know 1 week is too short. I'm not bringing any of that stuff. Nope.
So you kind of have tripped into my third question as well, but I love it. So I'm going to answer as well. In my mind, here's my feeling on it. If I found out a week beforehand I have this stuff and I read them, I go, crap, these guys look really good. Here's my equation. Can I get 5 games in with them? Like 5 good testing games in? If yes, I think I rolled the dice if I think they're that good. And the reason is because it kind of goes to my third question is, how much of an advantage do you think you get as a player by bringing something new that you think you even have? Maybe you certainly have not expert or like mastered. Nobody is mastering a list or a box in 2 weeks. They're just not.
Yep.
Anyone who tells you they are, they're wrong. Tell them just, put your finger up to their mouth and say, just stop talking. But if I think I can get like several good test games in a short period of time, I would risk it because I personally think you get a big advantage by knowing what your models do and your opponent not knowing what your models do.
I wanna okay, so I'm gonna go against this real quick. Number one, the question that was asked was face value, first time seeing the cards, it's apparent it's Iden 2.0. That's 100% a slam dunk, isn't it? As a competitive player, how is that not a slam dunk?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like short term, yeah. If something looks really good, I think even if it looks not Iden 2.0, even if it's just good, it's a solid like high B, low A tier type thing.
Okay.
I think having the extra knowledge that your opponent doesn't have bumps everything up a tier. If we just don't think about it in that mindset, like it kicks everything up a level.
Sure.
So even if the list is just good, but I can get 5 to 7 games in with it, I'm taking it.
Okay, so I'm gonna
I
come
agree
at you
with that.
now. I'm gonna come at you now with this one. Wasn't the world on fire when Krennic was spoiled?
Oh, people misevaluating things. I don't think was the question. It was if you think it's good.
Fair enough. All right, fair. But
And
no,
yeah,
I
think Krennic's
I
kit
think
looks great on paper.
I think end of the day, I think it's like if you have the time to get the reps in and it's something that you want to play and you perceive as good, then it comes down to that what I said earlier is are you going to risk it and is that risk worth it to you? And I think that's all it comes down to.
And that's kind of that third question is right. How much of an advantage do you think you get? Because I think that weighs in a ton to the risk. Like
I think
if I
don't
get
think,
a big step up.
So at this point of the game, when is I guess okay, barring Bodhi, when is the last time a character came to the game that brought a brand new mechanic?
Veers.
Han Solo.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, every
Sure.
release wave kind of does it.
Sure.
Veers puts a card in reserve.
Yeah,
Nothing does that.
but like
I mean,
it's
anyone can put a
been
card in
it's
reserve.
been
But like
it's-
from the deck, right? Like
yeah, sure, but like yeah, I guess like yes, every release wave has a new mechanic, and that's the shock factor because I can look at a card and be like, oh, you have protection, I know how to deal with protection. Oh, you have steadfast, I know how to deal with steadfast. Oh, you have a revenge mechanic, I know how to deal with a revenge mechanic. Like at the baseline value for all of these types of abilities that we see in the game, you have a core understanding at a competitive level how to handle these types of things, and they're already in the game. So it's like, do these boxes come with something new? That's the bigger question that needs to be like found out immediately.
I kind of disagree, and the reason being is I think of a lot of not disagree to kind of counter it a little bit is I don't think yes, a new mechanic would matter a lot, but I think a big thing you're seeing is like you're talking about two factions that are very, in my opinion, almost the highest separatists. I think are the highest synergy faction.
Sure.
They require the most help from all the models. You're giving them, they're getting a 33% increase in total models in the game, basically, with this. Like, by the same counter, Republic are getting like a 10% increase. So, like, this could do a lot, especially for Separatists. And I think Republic is probably the second biggest, like, synergistic mechanic. Where, in my mind, the way I'm looking at that is, like, most of the cards have abilities that are tagged to the keyword for the faction, right? So, like, I think you're talking about two high synergy things. I think even if there isn't groundbreaking mechanics, I think both of those boxes have a chance to really cause some interesting pairings, especially like we keep always looking at these separatist things and going, and that's the box that worries me the most as a player is the separatist side.
Yes.
Like Republic's got a lot of good stuff.
And
kind of like
that's
what Booker, what you
my
said in the
big-
beginning, right? Like separatists could come out of nowhere again, and no one's playing against them. No one's playing, like people aren't really playing against them or with them in tournament, in high level tournament prep because everyone assumes they're dead. So
Well,
that's
except for the
dead,
purist.
but except for the pure, right? Except for
that's I think that's my biggest thing of like this whole trying to like get an idea of what's coming is it's like face value. We have rebels, we have Republic, we have separatists. If anything's gonna make like a massive splash, my money's on Riff because like
Ba-dum-bum.
people are less people are less prepared for that game plan or that style of game. Like I can't remember the last time I went into a true separatist list.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. And I'm gonna give Joseph a shout out. He is right. Separatist synergy is terrible. Bow droid synergy is life. So yeah, maybe that could change. Although aqua droids are droids, so who knows? More droids.
Grievous is a droid.
Yeah, it's weird. These droids should be a cyborg.
Yeah, but he's
also
not a battle
droid. Yeah,
He's not a battle droid.
he should be a cyborg, not about. He's not a droid.
Fair.
He's not actually a droid.
But
So-
I just keep coming back to, I think as of right now, like I'm most interested to see what the Rift box does, because I think that's where my money is. If I'm gonna play something that is in these waves at Nova, it's gonna be Rift.
And I mean, he's coming out early enough that we should have plenty of time, given
Yeah. Fair.
his card comes out a month before he's released. So that'll give you time to read it, learn it, theory craft it, and then put it on the table.
Exactly.
So that was kind of like a little pre-conversation, because obviously we're talking about GTs in the summer and stuff. And part of why we're talking about is we want to kind of build up here a little bit into talking about a slightly different format. And obviously we did the episode, 2 months ago, about talking about, like a couple months, even longer than that, talking about like alternate potential formats. And one of the cool things we're doing at Nova is we're doing team trios. And obviously we talked a little bit about it, but part of what we want to do is kind of dive a little bit more into that format and talk a little bit about like strategies. And it works out really nice because I have two people on the cast with me who are playing in team trios. So first I want to kind of go over the format and how it's working. So it's teams of 3. Each player is playing their own individual game.
I thought it was teams of 4. Damn it.
What?
Trios. What?
Each player is playing their own game, unlike other team formats where you're playing at the same time. Or you're actually all playing at the same time, but not playing on the same game. Each player is bringing a standard showdown list, so 2 squads. And follow across your entire team, you have to follow all of the unique character rules. So, like, if the 3 of us are a team, if Diz brings Anakin, Booker and I can't bring a Vader, so on and so forth. The other thing we're doing is missions are all unique across the team. So if Diz brings Never Tell Me the Odds, Booker and I are pulling from the other 3 lists. So that's kind of that is the list building portion of it. I want to talk a little bit about how we're doing pairings, because a lot of what I want to talk about with the 2 of you is, what are your thoughts, feelings? Are there tactics? Are there strategies you guys are going with? So going into how the pairings are going to work. So first thing we're going to do, and we're going to use the 3 of us as an example to kind of help walk through this. So first thing we have to have is a captain. Diz, for the purpose of these examples, you're the captain. So yay, Diz is in charge. So first thing we're going to do, yeah. So we're going to get a pairing. Let's say we're table 1. There's 3 tables set up at table 1. We walk up there. Everyone's got a different one going on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine initiative, right? Same thing as every game. Captains are going to roll for the most crits. Got it. That person is initiative. So and here's where it gets a little weird. And I will say, we took a lot of this from the MCP trios format and tried to like adapt it a little. We had a whole bunch of ideas floating around. We just kind of picked one and we figure we'll learn our lumps. So first thing we do is determining the battlefield. So team A selects so we're going to be team A in this example. We select one of the 3 tables and we place a player card face down. So what a player card is each of the 3 of us. Basically, Diz, you're going to pick a table, let's say table 1 of 3. You're like, I like my list. Diz puts his player card face down the table. So the other team doesn't know it's Diz. We know it's Diz, right? So then the other team's captain does the same thing, right? Team B selects one of the other 2 available battlefields and places one of their player cards face down on that. So currently we have 2 face down players on 2 different battlefields. So then we determine the remaining battlefield. So then then we reveal those cards. So now we flip over. Okay, Diz is on team 1, and the other team we're playing against is Larry, Mo, and Curly. They put Curly on table 2. So then we determine the remaining battlefield. So team A, we're back to us, is going to place one of our players' card on each of the 2 remaining battlefields, still face down, and then B puts them on each of the 2 remaining battlefields, still face down. Then we flip them over. and then we just basically follow the game as normal. You roll your stuff as normal. You know, at that point we are playing 3 separate games of Shatterpoint, and how they all come back up together is at the end of the round. How we win or lose the round are based on total games. So like, Diz, you win your game 2-0. I had a bad game. Larry kicked the crap out of me. I went 0-2. Booker, you win 2-1. We win the match with 4 points. We have 2 victories, even though the other team had. Now, remember, the other team could get 3, right? Like Diz, you could lose 2 or you could win 2-1. I got 0-2. Yes, each team got 4 struggles, but we won because we had 2 wins to 1 win, right? Pretty simple. That's the whole format. So a couple things we want to talk about. First off, I guess, as you two playing that, any questions? Like, what is your feeling just on the format first? Diz, we're gonna start with you.
Having played that MCP trios actually, and having recently actually played 40K teams events, I have learned that there are very many different ways to do team events that are fun. So I'm excited to see how this goes, and I'm curious how it goes, because like how this one ends up going is you're basically fighting for the map on like what map you want to play on, more so than the matchup. And it's harder to gauge what matchup you're gonna get unless it's like, and it comes down to being like, I need to put down probably my strongest player first, like when it's like your anchor, and it just like, can my anchor play on this map? So a lot of, again, that comes down to this format is you're fighting over the map on what you want to do, and that's like the only knowledge you're really going to be able to truly base off of.
I mean, you're certainly getting a little bit as we get into the later matchups, but that's like right now, before we get into more tactics. Yeah, that's your, I like it. That's your like first initial thought. Booker, anything else? What are your, anything like high level you're thinking of, or anything, you know, obviously like Diz said, this is the first time we're trying this. We aren't saying it's perfect. We plan on making changes long term, but we're trying to learn it somewhere. So any other thoughts for you, Booker?
So, I mean, I think Dizzard hit on it really well. You're looking at the table, and I think that you need to evaluate, you know, these are the 3 missions we brought. What 3 table, you know, what mission would be really bad if it was on this table? Okay, we want to avoid putting that person there, which means now we have to put them at one of the other 2 tables and come up with that strategy, right? Like, especially since a lot of it is hidden knowledge and pairings and everything like that, I think it comes a lot down to where does one of us feel comfortable playing on potentially a terrain setup that could screw you, you know? If one of us has a really low mobility list and there's one table that has very little ingresses, lots of elevation, all the points are going to be elevated, okay, you can't play there.
Here's
so
the Mandos list.
Somewhere else. Yeah. Exactly, right? Like, and thinking about it that way then comes about, you know, the higher end strategies of list building, which I guess we'll get to later, so I won't talk about that now, but...
No, but I like the table thought, because obviously that's the big thing, and we went through a lot of different iterations of this, right? And like, I love ATC and WTC format, and for anyone who's not familiar with those, first off, there's more players, and this is why we couldn't come up with a good strategy for teams of 3. If we had teams of 5, all in, we have much better formats. But in like ATC and WTC, that's American Team Championships, World Team Championships, the lists get played more face up. So like, you as the first team, put a guy face up front, so everyone know the other team is picking the counters. There's no good way to do that with only 3 teams. So I do think the tables are going to make more of an impact. And in general,
I want to cut in here. I think for Shatterpoint, the table, and like what Booker said, the table / being able to pick what table gets the mission, that is more important than the matchup itself. Because if I could sit here and I could put Sabotage Showdown and I'm a killy list on a terrain setup that like incentivizes the death donut. Like I remember there's a TTS map that's literally a circle, and like all the points are like in a very specific spot. It's like, wow, this is terrible for sabotage for one person. And so it's like, it's very much like, that is like being able to control that for Shatterpoint is massive, and that's the type of thinking and headspace that you need to be at in your team construction, and what you're looking at for when you're picking the tables is the maps and the mission, and how does this make sense, and then also like your mobility in each of these teams. But it's less about, I know I'm good into Empire, that doesn't matter. Like it's do I want to play Sabotage Showdown on a no ingress map? Like that's what matters. And I think that makes more sense for Shatterpoint, because I may be playing Empire, but I'm playing Empire with Cassian, or I may be playing Rebels with Mando, or like there's so many different things. It's not like I'm gonna go back to 40k here, but it's not like I'm not playing Space Marines and you're playing Chaos. Like it's very much like there's not factions. Like no matter however many times you try to skin it, there's not factions in this game. Like it's not that straightforward.
As you say that, as we're putting faction awards together for Nova.
I know, right?
Yeah. As soon as we talk about doing faction awards, I'm like, man, Omnis is somewhere kicking himself for saying factions. But
I know.
so and I want to jump into one thing. So Todd in the chat, we're ripping the Band-Aid off because we got used to this team format. I love the teams of two format, and for ACO we did something very similar to what Todd and Aubrey did for LVO, and did the double Shatterpoint card that so each player has to use one. It was huge. People had a ton of fun. It's definitely a fun casual format. It gets tough out of GT because it really becomes like beer and pretzel-y, and I think this is like a nice mix of still a more like fun format, but you still get that team aspect, but it makes the gameplay a lot smoother, and I think this is where the community is going to want to be heading if we can work this out right. So let's start getting to a little bit more higher level. I guess I want to say one more thing. So something both of you guys have said has now makes me think a little bit more as a TO for this. You know, we've been talking, Simon, Anthony, when we're setting up tables, where we're like, yeah, we want to make sure each of the 3 tables, and me and my over planning, I literally already know for teams, table 1 is going to be these 3 sets of terrain. We have blocked out all the terrain for the team event to make sure we're getting different types of terrain. Like, I don't want to randomly trip into like, oh, this game, all 3 matches are on Fractured City terrain. Like, there's only so much variation we can get there. So we already have the terrain divided up, but it makes me think more as a TO. I think I want to focus a little bit more on trying to make the tables go a little more above and beyond to make those 3 tables all a little unique from each other. Already when I set up terrain, I try to make them a little more unique, right? But now it gives me an interesting idea. I hadn't thought about it as much.
I think with how you have it broken down, that's what you have to do, because that is what gives the players power, and that's how you win the pairings. You win the pairings by picking the right table for the right person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially with these tables, since it's a team versus a team, and you know that, you know, no one's going to play on these same tables again and stuff like that, right? They can be a lot more asymmetrical. So, you know, table 1 can be set up for really good first contact, never tell me the odds, and shifting priority, but then terrible for Sabotage Showdown. And it doesn't make you as a TO feel bad about it, because it's not like 2 people with Sabotage Showdown are just going to get randomly paired to that table and be like, well, all 7 of our objectives were on the ground and there was no blocking terrain, so it was just a field day for the person that brought the more gun list.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. And like, again, we kind of knew we wanted to divide up the types of tables to make things a little different, but now I want to spend more time like setting up the tables, focusing on exactly what the 2 of you have talked about. So like, here you go. I learned something new. This is my thing I learned new today. That's great. So yeah, good. That was my takeaway. I wanted to interject that because it was great. And like in the moment, I'm like, yeah, let's highlight that. So now let's talk a little about tactics. So I want to first talk first off, it's gonna be some stacked teams, right? I think we're up to 12 already, and we know we have a couple still trying to like figure out who's playing with who. Some gnarly. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So you 2 are both playing on different teams. Diz, it is you with Sam Sweeten from Zi-Fi and Ryan Janway.
Mhm.
And then Booker, you're playing with Scott, Evil Houdini, and the other local we mentioned, my buddy Trevor, who's also Angry Penguin when you see him in our stream chat. So like, obviously, we have a lot of good teams, right? Like Joseph's in here. Him and his three brothers are a team. There's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see all this.
I need to correct you. Is it?
Uh oh.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Never
Oh,
mind.
okay. So what are your thoughts? So obviously the biggest, in my mind, the biggest list planning that matters is that first list you're gonna put up. Are you guys designing, or obviously I don't know how far you guys have gotten planning. There's a lot of GT planning to go on. So I'm not saying you guys, I'm assuming, are not sitting there spending hours thinking about your team's list, but is your
You're not?
gut that you're not? Wait, why not? All right. Is your gut that you guys are trying to plan that one list is always going to be your like first list put up face down? Is that a strategy you consider? Like, we're gonna make this our all comers list. You know, Diz for your team. We're gonna make it so Diz is always the first one up, no matter what. We're just always putting Diz list forward. No, you don't like.
You can't do that with this format because the whole you're playing for map and mission. You're not playing for matchup, so you can't say all comers list unless you say this list is good at every single mission. Which, if that existed, that's what would be winning every single tournament.
So, at the end of the day, what this tournament really is 3 people together playing a showdown tournament.
Yep.
You come with a list,
Mm-hmm.
and you play showdown. There's just a few extra hurdles to get through, right? So, every list in a showdown list should be an all-comers list. If
Yes.
you bring a very specific anti-X list into showdown, you shouldn't expect to do well. And
Right.
since we don't know what the matchups are, I think every list is going to be theoretically all's comers, which means it really just comes down to, what we talked about earlier. What do you feel comfortable playing? And then it's going to come down to, Scott and Angry Penguin and I have already talked, like, what are primaries you feel comfortable with? I feel comfortable with these 5. Oh, I feel comfortable with these 5. Okay, we don't have any overlap. So we can both, work out what we want. Oh, I want to play, Kanan, and he wants to play Grand Inquisitor. Oh, but we both want Ezra. Okay, well, now we have to talk.
So, and this very similar is very much like, who are you comfortable with to the point that you can play against anything? And that's the big question. Is it's not one list that's going down first is the general list. It's you should be able to play into anything on anything as much as possible. And again, like, this comes back to the missions. Is whatever's going down first is whatever map you need to win and guarantee. Like there's like 3 maps, right? And I have 2, and I have one dude that's saying, I will not win this game on those 2 maps, or I will not win against this mission. And that's what you're deciding on. That's where you need to win the roll off and say, this is what's going down first, because this is the best chances for this player to win.
Interesting. So like it's interesting you guys are saying that, because I think my mind went a little differently. Like, I definitely think I'm planning, not saying that all comers list has to be the same every time, but like if I look what's going on across the table, I'd be like, who has the best overall play into those 3? And then I think I'm going, okay, so like, let's use the example of the 3 of us on our team. So Diz, you're the captain. We walk up to the table and we see across the table, like, we see an Anakin, let's say, what's one of the top things recently? We see an Anakin Kiadi list. We see a Hunter Obi list that are somehow not sharing anything, and we see a PLC Mando list. We're talking about it. I think the first thing in my mind is, okay, is there any one of our 3 lists that just doesn't hate this matchup? Like, basically, I'd look at like Diz, if you're the captain. If it's my mind, I'm going, okay, let's look like Booker. Let's say Booker's list goes, all right, Booker doesn't hate any of these 3 matchups. They might not be his favorite, but like he doesn't hate any of them. We might look at my list and go, holy crap, if I have to play against PLC, I'm screwed. And Diz, you might go like, well, I can't beat Anakin. Like, Anakin's nasty for me. To me, like, that factors in a lot. And I go, okay, if Booker has the best overall matchup, we put Booker down first and just pick the table that works best for Booker in his list.
So I think there's multi-tiered priority that you have to go with. So we're putting down, we win initiative, so we get to pick the first table and we get to put a list down. So we get to see what their lists are and what missions they are. Okay, I have a list that can't play against Sabotage Showdown. I just can't win that mission, period. For whatever reason, that's like the worst mission for my setup. Just can't win it. Okay, let's look at the 3 tables. And, they have one list that has Sabotage Showdown. So we look at the 3 tables and we go, if you were to play Sabotage Showdown on this table, it would be terrible for you. Okay, that's where my list is going. Now we've locked in Matt can't play Sabotage Showdown on this table. Great. And then the other team gets to, do something similar, and then those get flipped face up. Now we're given, the second tier of priority. Who do we want to go against the face up person? And then they get to pick who do they want to go against me. So we'll say for whatever reason, they didn't put the Sabotage Showdown player face down, right? So they guessed correctly. They can put me against the Sabotage Showdown player where they're like, oh, if Matt's list goes into Sabotage Showdown, he can't win. And then they look at the table and they go, but if we play Sabotage Showdown on this table, I don't think I can win. So then what do, right? But, we'll say alternatively, they put the Sabotage Showdown on the table that's great for Sabotage Showdown. Okay, I'm great with whatever matchup I end up with. Good. Maybe we get a win there. I increase my odds from, 50-50 to 60-40. Okay, cool. I got a 10% advantage. Sounds great. And then, we get to decide who do we want to go against the person that they put down, and then the other 2 is, random.
See, part of the reason I think I care, so like to use your same example of like you can't win on Sabotage Showdown on this table, we don't have to put you up first, because even if we put Diz up first, one, we could use Diz or myself to block that table that you can't play Sabotage Showdown on, or 2, if we put Diz on the first list up on a different table, we now have a 50-50 option. We just don't put you on the other table. See, to me, maybe I'm missing it. Like maybe I'm not thinking about the tables enough.
I think you're thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with Booker. I feel like hard skewing in this type of format is the wrong way to go, because you're gonna get fucked. Like there's gonna be one game where it's like I can beat 90% of the field, but 10% I absolutely get dumpstered. It's too easy to manufacture putting you into that 10% in this format.
I mean, I agree a lot with what you said, Matt, and then also Dizzard, because it was sort of reinforcing my thoughts. But I think we're thinking about it from 2 separate angles, right? Like you're thinking about we need to pick the matchups to be good matchups. And I'm more thinking, what matchups do we want to completely avoid? Mm-hmm. So it's a difference between engineering success and planning for failure, right? Like I'm trying to plan to avoid failure, and you're trying to engineer success.
Basically, Matt's the defensive, you're the aggressive. That's
I mean, that is also very true.
I would say I think it was our entire team strategy for Adepticon 2 years ago. But no, I like that breakdown. And yeah, I mean, look, I don't think there is a right answer to this strategy. In fact, the only way we'll get close to that is after the event. We'll talk to like the 2 teams, the teams that went undefeated, and go, what do you do? And is there a right answer? It's just all different ways of looking at it. But yeah, I think I agree. Like in my mind, I'm trying to set up And the reason I'm concerned less about the one miserable matchup is, yeah, that one guy on my team is gonna have a bad time, but as long as the other two matchups are favorable, we win 2-1. Like,
That's all that matters. Yeah.
yeah, that's my mindset.
That's probably like how Matt said, like Booker said, there's a tier list of like what your priorities are. Number one, mission / table is number one. Absolutely. I think that's just what you've got to look at is what and where am I playing. The who matters less than those two things, and then it's these two. Go ahead.
The where and who matters for the first blind.
Yeah.
Then the who and who matters after the flip, because you know one person, which means you have a 50% chance to guess where the other two people are going to be.
Yes.
Because it's not like a 33% chance because there are three people. It comes down to the Benny Hill problem.
Yep. I was about to. Here's my other good examples. What was the movie? 24, 21, whatever, the one with Kevin Spacey, the like gambling movie. Like, yeah, right. That's why I want to like put that clip in here. I'm like, this is what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you pick door 2 or door 3? Well, I get to choose. Can I flip doors 2 and 3? Yes. Okay, I do that, and then I pick door 3. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You get more agency there. I mean, to me, I think there's kind of two questions. I agree with what you said, right? There's two phases of this, right? And there's two different decisions. It's the who am I putting up first blind, and then how am I trying to craft the last two matchups.
Mm-hmm.
I think another good example for tables in my mind, and this is always fun, is like, let's say one table is like clearly not a lot of ingress points. This is a Mando style table. If both teams have a heavy jetpack Mando list, the team that wins priority, like, odds are I can guess if they put one face down on the low ingress point list, like, all right, well, that's where they're putting their Mando player. Like, they're trying to grab this and hope that gives them an edge. Cool. What do I do to play around it type thing? I think that gets really interesting. And then, yeah, it comes down to the counter. So, like, so let's say we've done our first, we put down our first two matchups on the table, and now we're trying to figure out how we're playing around these. So now I'm curious your thoughts on what are you looking for your next thing. So, okay, let's use our example. Diz, Booker, and myself, we're playing against Larry, Mo, and Curly. Diz, we put you down first on the table. Larry went down on a separate table. We flip everything over. Okay. So now it's back to us to put things down. How are we playing around matches? So let's say we flip over Larry's list. Are we fishing for, and obviously there is no one golden rule to solve all these scenarios, right? There's so many things, but are we fishing for like the win there? So we put Diz down, we see Larry's list. Are we going to sit here and go, all right, is our first question we're asking ourselves in our like flow chart is who beats Larry reliably between Booker and myself? Or are we going the opposite of, okay, we know what two lists they have left. We know one of them has to go against Diz. So therefore one of Booker or I are playing Larry, and one of us is playing a random person. I could see both arguments as saying, I want to focus on making sure we beat Larry because that is a win under our belt and we are halfway there. Yes. Or you might go, I'm focusing on making sure to minimize the negative impact of because at this point now, only two matchups are 100%, or only one matchup, is 100% random, right? It's the non-Larry, non-Diz against the other two people. Do you work on minimizing that impact? So Diz, you kind of gave your opinion. What do you got?
I think you do the, like, can I guarantee this win over here? If the answer is yes, you slam it down. If it's like I might, then it's you play to the odds on the unclaimed table.
I agree.
Or I mean that's easy, right? Like I think I'm in the same mindset. I think I'm fishing for the win. And even like we say, like good matchup, right? Like the best matchup of this games can't be set better than 70-30. So yeah, I think I'm fishing for the matchup there as well. And trying to go with the mindset. Now, here's the thing, that matchup, also comes with a table and a mission that are random. Um, so I think I agree though. I'm fishing for the win in that spot.
You want to answer Todd's question real quick?
How much time are you going to? Yeah. So we are. So this is a great question. So Todd asked, how much time are going to give for table selection and setup? I feel like a time cap is needed to be set so players don't go too far in the tank with the turn zero stuff. Great question. So I think by default in the packet we added a little bit more time. I'm looking at my schedule here. We gave about half. We're only doing 3 rounds, so we have about half an hour total, and we're figuring we're giving like team pairings. So like round 1, team pairings are getting posted at 10. We are hoping in our calendar. We kind of assume within at 10:15 ish, you should be starting to put models on the table, and then 10:30 start. Because remember, obviously, it's still we still turn zero stuff, so maybe it's more like so you're getting about 15 to 20 minutes. We are planning on being a little bit more stringent on the clock for that because we do want to make sure that doesn't bog things down too much. Because absolutely, players can just go in the tank as, hey, look, the 3 of us sitting here just went into the tank debating how we put down our first model, our first list, right? So that is our hope, and that's one of my biggest concerns with teams in general is there's a lot of communication, and as soon as you have multiple people talking, things take longer. We're hoping teams are a little more prepared and they've done some of the pre-thinking ahead of time. But yeah, we're gonna give it's gonna be half an hour total from people getting to a table and dice rolling. We are hoping that is enough time to do everything. I assume it's going to be realistically. I'm hoping teams are having these thoughts beforehand. And in theory, once you get I think the first, that's interesting. Is the first choice harder than the second one? You're basically making 2 choices, right? Someone to go down face up blind against everything and then selection.
The second choice is harder.
You think the second, strictly because there's more? I mean,
there's more information. So you have to compile all the new information, right? Like
the first choice is what mission, what table.
Yeah.
No, which choice is harder to make?
The second one.
The second one.
Second one. Interesting. I kind of think that who's going up first is big.
What I'm learning here is you should not pair Matt's team and my team together because apparently we're thinking the same.
Totally. But that's what, right? Because so here's another thing: how much you think about what your opponent's thinking about, right? Like, good luck. Welcome to how pregame turn zero could take half hour by itself, just doing the placing people down.
When it comes to team events, this is the one thing I actually do spreadsheets for. So,
yeah,
I want to see what jank a Dizzard spreadsheet looks like. That could be a side cast entirely unto itself. Dizzard does spreadsheets. So sorry, Booker, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, if I plan on taking first contact and my team is really fast at putting stuff down and we convince other people to do it too, can we just start playing as soon as possible so I get an extra half an hour to play?
Nope. No, so that's a whole nother wild card is first contact exists. And how does that go? But that's actually one of my bonus questions on. Because we had a first contact conversation today after the event, so it was fun. All right, so you guys think the second? I guess it makes sense. There's definitely more to it. The more I think about it, you have more information, therefore, there's more choices. So in terms of list building, Booker, you hit on a little bit early on of so obviously the first thing you and your teammates are doing is identifying the people you like playing more. Are you
comfortable playing?
Sorry,
not
comfortable
playing.
Yeah, comfortable playing, right? Yeah, and this is something where you and your teammates should be a little more give everything you're comfortable playing so you have more options. Are you and your teammates discussing, and we'll start with you, Booker, do you think you guys are getting into the same meta level prep conversations that we do for a GT? Are you having that same thought process, right? How do we play against hyper aggressive lists? How do we play against this? Are you doing that or not as much because it's more random, the pairings?
So this goes back to you're playing a showdown tournament. So you can't prepare for the meta at a GT level as we know it because GTs aren't Showdown. They're Premier. It's different. I have to have my list and then decide what my second list is, or am I going an anchor list? All of these other questions that we've talked about before. This is different. This is all three of us need to play a list that is roughly all comers. So, and it could be all comers. I bring Iden, Grand Inquisitor. My list never goes down first because they'll just counter me with the double revenge list. So I just can't be down first. So mine is always a blind pick, and we just hope that I don't go into the double revenge. And it turns out, Iden Grand Inquisitor into Republic 3 rounds in a row. Well, okay. I guess I win. Good job, me.
Well, but see, you talk about like all comers lists, and you just described two more like broader archetypes, right? Like hyper aggro and revenge. And that's where my thought is like,
yeah, I'm not saying it has to be all comers, right?
Okay, I got you.
It just,
I got you. Okay.
I'm comfortable playing Iden Grand Inquisitor. Okay, we know that Scott is gonna play Iden Grand Inquisitor, so Scott is not an all comers list. So we have to pair Scott correctly. So that means the other two of us need to plan accordingly. Now, we could all just decide, you know what? There isn't enough revenge in this game. We're all going to take 3 hypo aggro lists. 2 of us are going to win. Just go for blood.
So that was one of my examples I was going to use. Like, what happens when you're playing against just like everyone, like all aggro, right? Because I've heard some of the talk be like early on, it was like, all right, well, what if we bring an aggro list, like a revenge list, and then something in the middle that just kind of does a like jack of all trades, master of none. And you might get caught by an opponent who goes, we're just all aggro, and just going, great, we're just going to kill everything. We just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Diz,
I mean, I think you lose like that.
Yeah, I mean, anything. So I definitely agree. You don't want you need to be prepared to play against anything. And I think how many lists in your group can be, because every list can't be good against everything, right? As Diz said earlier, if there was a list that was good against everything, it would win every event.
I argue with that statement just from the fact that most GTs are Premier, which means you can't have one list to win it all. You have to play that other list. And at the size that GTs are now, if you lose that one game, you're out. You don't make top cut anymore. You got to go undefeated day one, which means you have to bring the 2 lists that beat everything, which don't exist.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Well, because it's more like, so you described an example, like, all right, you have Scott on your team. Scott's playing the hyper aggro, like Iden GI, and yes, Scott's not an all comers. Can your team afford to have 2 people who are like specialized, or no? Do you think there's a limit to the number of people who are like, I have a bunch of bad matchups? Because right, a GI Iden list is like, man, I don't want to see a pile of revenge across the table. Do you think you can have multiple lists? What do you mean? Wait, what?
So Iden GI wouldn't want to see Pure Spectre, because that means every time you wound, Kanan's getting to clap back, and Hera's bringing people back to life. You don't want that.
But I guess my thing is, how many lists in your team can have like a glaring? Because like I think in general that list has an archetype issue, right? That archetype being heavy revenge is tough for lists like that. Do you think you can have multiple lists in your team of 3 that have a glaringly bad matchup, or do you think that's limited? I'll go to Diz because he has his hand up.
I think this 100% depends on what everybody else brings, because if everybody brings 2 specialist lists and 1 generalist list, then sure, it's going to work great. Like you can't. There's no right answer for this at all. Like,
and And the goal is not to come up with right answers, right? The goal is, in my mind, for the two of you who are very competitive players, very good players, who are playing in the team event, we want to kind of talk about it a little bit as because it's all coming up to this summer. It's like, how are you guys thinking 6 week out about what you're like? What are you guys talking about? Because I agree, this is really a fun potential long-term team format. We see it doing really well with MCP. How are you guys feeling about it?
I just
In
feel
terms of planning lists.
if I was to throw a specialist list in that was singularly focused, whether it be aggro, revenge, or control, I would be okay. We can afford one of these, because it's too risky to double down and let alone triple down. Because all it takes is to run into the one pairing where somebody thought it was a good idea to go double revenge in two of their lists, and then all of a sudden you're just like, well, shit. So I just think I don't, unless you're like literally like all three are different specialists, and then you gotta hope you're really smart at matchups.
So that is, I think you're allowed two specialties, but they can't be the same. You can't do double aggro. You can't do double control. It has to be, in aggro, a control, and then a mid range, or you can do an aggro two mids, right? Like, that's how I think about it in my mind.
I would argue that you could do a two revenge list if one of them is Kanan focused, because Kanan's more generalist as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Kanan is like an exception in my opinion. Like, you could absolutely take two lists that are revenge as long as one of them is Kanan.
See, I also think I'll start with your last thing before I go back to my other point I wanted to highlight. But I kind of disagree. Like, I see some other options, right? You can do two aggro lists if one of them is like armor or maul, because I think armor or maul in a situation can play as a little bit more of a like objective focus list, especially if we're talking about tables and terrain where you can potentially put Mandos on something where they can just like move, jump, hunker. Yes, you.
Matt.
Yes,
How long have I been saying Maul armor is not an aggro list?
Okay. It just kills a lot of things.
It does, but it's not an aggro list.
I do think there are some additional ones, but I agree with what you're saying. And it's interesting you think like, and I wanted, what the point I wanted to go back to, Diz, was your thing of, if you bring like if you basically all pick one of the major archetypes and try to all be a little more specialist, I think you are going to live and die by the turn zero, and I think that is not what I want to do.
No,
like,
it's way
100%.
too much pressure. Too much pressure on turn zero.
One of the interesting things, so like we've been talking a little bit as the judges, that if we have an odd number of people, an odd number of lists, we will jump in as the buy. We will jump in as the extra team, as the judge team. And my mindset is totally different in our list building. I'm like, you guys pick the list you want to play, and I will find something that fits in there that I think fills a gap that we don't cover. Is kind of my mindset. But like, in terms of list building, in terms of what you guys are talking about, like, there's definitely still archetypes that are going to exist. I would be shocked to have more than, of the 12 teams, I have to imagine at least 10 of them, and 12 teams as of now, at least 10 of them are going to have a Republic list, right? Like, if not, I guess not all of them. There's definitely people who just aren't playing Republic, but I think 10 are having Republic lists. I think you're going to see a lot.
Isn't an archetype.
But I mean, like,
That's
I guess you see a lot of like, and I think you're see a fair amount of Anakins. So I think that's an aggressive list that can play a little bit more control-y if it needs to, depending on how it's built. Like, I think you're going to see a lot of spreads in lists. And yeah, I don't hate going more heavy into one. I wouldn't be shocked to see a team that's like, we're all aggressive and do well.
I feel like something that is going to get missed here is things that have hard counters are, in my opinion, a mistake, because it's almost too easy to manufacture that in the pair-ups. Like, I would not be taking Anakin to this because it's too easy for my opponent, who has a perfect revenge list, to just hold for the last drop to be forced into the Anakin.
Well, remember, you can't hold on the last drop. You just, if they don't put Anakin down first, and you don't put your squishy, looks really tempting for Anakin to play into list down first, then Anakin is you have a 50% chance to
Yeah,
guess Anakin correctly, right? Like,
You better hope
which
you're right.
then comes down to, yeah, you either hope you're right or you skew alternatively, which then means you're panicking because of Anakin, and you brought two revenge lists and something that Anakin couldn't play well into.
Mhm.
So you have to play that. I mean, basically, it comes down to you would be playing 3 revenge centric lists that Anakin can't play into, and that would be what you're doing. But then you're specifically targeting an aggro list set, and if you go against someone that decided to bring, Kanan Mando, uh, Armorer Maul, I don't know, something else with Obi Hunter. Those are their 6 lists. None of those are aggro quotes. Um, what are you doing to that? What are you doing? Who are you picking to go into what? Like, you're probably gonna lose. Like, this is the round when you're going, we're gonna need that whole 30 minutes in turn 0 to figure out what's happening, because I didn't prepare for this.
And obviously, there's like an endless number of possibilities for like pairing situations we could talk about. As I think about it, it's that stupid. What is that? Little pie chart that's they don't know that we know that they know. They don't know it's a bunch of circles and arrows pointing at everything, because that's how it kind of gets to, right? I just, to me, you talk about like Diz, you say like, oh yeah, I can't play into Anakin. You can control one list not playing against one other list. Then I guess the question is like, how much does our team figure that out and try to mind game you in the process?
Yeah, then it just comes down to how much is it worth holding on to, or do you just sacrifice it so the other two can win? And that's
and there's something to be said of you're just a sacrificial lamb and go, hey man, your goal is to like maybe steal a game on dice or big risky plays, and we're just gonna hope the other 2 games work out nicely.
I think it really just comes down to when does the TO release the lists, so that way we can see what we're coming up against for the whole event.
Oh, that's like an hour
morning
before.
of, man.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's completely different, to where it's like you're not gonna have time to be able to like look at your matchups and be like, okay, I can engineer this and know what everybody's playing and have an idea of, okay, if we see this team, here's the plan. We see this team, here's the plan. So it's like that adds a whole nother element to it. Is the first time you see these lists is probably going to be as soon as you sit in across from them.
Mm-hmm. Now, one question that we haven't gone over is, what type of psychological warfare are we going to do against our opponents? Like,
same thing as I did last year. I'm going to have a cooler. It's going to have a bunch of beer in it, and I'm going to say, hey, you guys want one?
I mean, that's different. I'm more talking about, I give Scott my list to go stand in front of the table and put it face down, and Scott just stands there as if that's his list.
It doesn't
and then
matter
they
what's
get
on Scott, though. You gotta,
it's called the captain. The captain puts them all face down. So
right, yeah. But Scott as the captain goes. Scott as the captain walks over and goes, "Okay, Matt, you should play on this table," and puts not my list down there.
Oh, that's real mind gaming. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's you're going a whole nother level of mind game. Because I was gonna say like the mind game being like, man, how much you care about the player. Like, there's definitely I mean, as the joke that Trevor made being on a team, Booker with you and Scott, he's like, I guess I'm okay being called the worst player on the team with the people who have won the only 2 Adepticons for Shatterpoint, right? Like, he's like, I guess I'm okay being called the worst player on this team. In a joke I made to him, but like, yeah, there's definitely something to be like, man, how much do we play around the matchups? Like, how much are we afraid of this person? And there's a mind game to that. Like, there is definitely some intimidation factor if you're like, I mean, look at the 2 of you guys have like teams with well-known players, right? There's an intimidation if I'm playing Diz and Sam and Ryan and going like, crap, What if that's Diz list? Or if that's Sam? Like, do I want to do that? Does one of you want to go walk up and play one of these two guys? Like, and
We'll see. What
Ryan's
the real trick for us is I just take Kanan and Sam takes Maul armor, and then that way people like literally have no idea because they're expecting me with Maul armor and
Well, like,
Sam.
you will know what players are playing each list. So it's not
Nope.
like we put a list face down and like, all right, well now Scott's gonna go pilot this, or like Booker's gonna like. Obviously, we know who is playing, like who has brought what list. That is locked at the start of the event. So
Oh, I mean, we're gonna fill out our names as players 1, 2, and 3, and then just
I'll
shuffle, right?
No. It's interesting we talked so much about like the terrain, the tables, because one of the alternative formats we thought about, alternative way to do pairings was instead have the missions assigned at the table. So you guys would show up to like table 1, and let's say table 1A is already established. That is Sabotage Showdown. Table 1B is Never Tell Me the Odds. Table 1-3 is First Contact. So you guys are doing your pairings with the matchups already, with the missions already sitting on the table.
I
Obviously,
feel
we don't
like-
want to get into that, but that was just like, I wanted to like,
Yeah.
it was an alternative that we got close to picking.
I would say like if this proves to take like, okay, turn 0 takes way too long, I think that's the way to go. But like if the timing for this feels right, then you stick with this.
Yeah, that was kind of one of our things is like the turn 0 gets faster a little bit because you don't have to worry about, you don't have to factor in your opponent's mission. You just factor in the terrain and the existing mission, right? Like it makes it a little bit easier. Also, it speeds up turn 0 because we can pre-deploy all the objectives.
Yeah.
So every table has objectives sitting on it already. So you just walk up and go, great, I see all the objectives. I know where everything's gonna fall. Just it was something I thought about it as one of our alternate ways we didn't go with. But I think we talked about a lot. I don't know if there's anything else that's sticking out the two of you. Obviously, like again, there's no answer to this, right? I mean, maybe there is, and we haven't done enough testing to know what it is, but we want to kind of talk about like the summer, the GTs, and how everything's being impacted, and then obviously like Nova and the team format because it's something new that I know. I believe the UK event has done a couple of these team trios. I don't know their exact rulings they do for pairings. I think they've done 2 now. If I remember, I think doesn't Rich Mid, isn't that one of the ones he runs? But kind of just get a chance to talk about this. Are there any other thoughts? Just kind of more generally in list building or more tactics that you want to kind of cover, something we didn't talk about. I guess Diz, will start with you.
No, I think we covered a lot.
Booker, anything else you're thinking about you wanted to get in?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered a lot. We talked a lot about tactics. I think the big takeaways for you, if you're planning on doing a team event like this, trying to run one locally or showing up at Nova, I think the biggest takeaway we talked about is make sure you've got lists you feel comfortable with. Shocker, we talk about that with everything for a GT, but I think you need to have some kind of definitive decisions. I think the biggest thing I'm going to recommend to everyone is like, hey guys, in the interest of making decisions and time, if you guys are all wavering on stuff, the captain should just take the final say. Like, I would do democracy, and if it's 2 votes to 1, we do that decision. And if we can't make a decision, just the captain's opinion is the one that gets decided in the end because you have to make a decision eventually, right?
Yep.
We can't spend an hour sitting here with like a bunch of charts and a spreadsheet figuring out all the possible permutations of pairings to what would be the best, but it's definitely just make a decision.
I mean, just roll off. There, you're done.
You could, and look, we were joking. Now, like, I wouldn't be shocked if a team just comes up and says, like, "Hey, man, we're doing this all random. We're just gonna roll dice
Just
every
drop
round.
it down to see what
We're
happens.
gonna be like, all right, we rolled up, we got this. All right, we're putting this one face down over here. The dice told us to.
That's the real
I
money
mean-
game. Man, these guys are so confident with their lists. They don't care.
I would just do Rochambeau every round, but not tell your opponent what it actually means. You lost. Your list goes down.
Yeah,
Well, no, it was actually the winner's list that went down.
I like. Can you penalize a player if they break out a spreadsheet? Yeah, not allowed to use outside digital notes. I'm not bringing out like an accounting ledger. Do it by hand.
Doing it by hand. Your printout.
Yeah, by printouts. Again, I don't have anything else we'd add. We don't have accuser to do our.
Booker has to do it. He's sitting in the chair.
My goodness.
What?
The most Star Wars thing, our normal ending that has been handed down from generation to generation. I guess without a better way to sign off, obviously, I think if you are not getting to a GT this summer or fall, man, find one. Go to it. It's going to be a ton of fun. I think there's some cool releases coming out. And I think it's going to be a quiet winter with how the releases are going. So get to a GT this summer and fall, man. Go have fun.
Yeah.
The Star Wars that you do is play in a team ratio at Nova.
Boom. Alrighty. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem.
It was
Yeah, I
fun.
appreciate it. As the last minute of literally, like, I was talking to Phil Fridays, like, I think the stomach bug came home. Theo's got it. I'm like, okay, keep me posted. Like, feel better. Or like, hope he's feeling better. And then today he was like, yeah, we all got it. It's everywhere.
With that, I do got to get going. So thank you, everybody, for coming on and checking out the stream. And we